Here's the thing. Right now, millions of Americans across the country and homeowners are sitting on record levels of home equity. But most of them have no idea they can actually use the equity without touching their low mortgage rate. And that's where the real opportunity is in 2025 and going into 2026. The feds have already made some rate cuts and they're hinting more rate cuts are coming, but not fast. We're still sitting around the 6 to 7% on mortgage rates, and they're only expected to dip slightly as we head into 2026. So if you're waiting for the perfect time to refinance, you might be waiting a while. Meanwhile, homeowners who understand how to leverage a HELOC or a second mortgage are renovating their homes, consolidating debt, and even buying investment opportunities with properties without giving up their 2, 3, 4% first mortgage. In this video, I'm breaking down how that works, when it makes sense, and how to make your home's equity work for you instead of sitting there doing nothing. I'm Matt with Anchor Home Loans, and if you own a home and want to see how much tappable equity you got, head to anchorhl.com and save this video, and I would be more than happy to help you do a free equity analysis. Let's get into it. All right, so let's talk about why so many homeowners are starting to use their equity instead of refinancing. Across the country, people are realizing they're sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars in tappable equity. And with mortgage rates still hovering around the 6, 7% mark, keeping that low first mortgage rate is gold to you and obviously your payment. So there's lots happening right now in real numbers and how homeowners are putting that equity to work. So we're going to start talking about a couple things. So if you're in the market, this video is for you. So why are homeowners doing this? Well, U.S. homeowners currently hold about $11.5 trillion in tappable equity, the highest level ever recorded. Think about that. That's a lot of money. The average homeowner has roughly $200,000 to maybe $300,000 in usable equity. In the first quarter of 2025 alone, nearly $25 billion was pulled out through HELOCs and second mortgages, the largest first quarter total since, not going to believe it, 2008. Here in Florida, values have held pretty strong even as rates stayed high, so there's a lot of build-up equity people can finally tap. What that means, in simple terms, you can unlock cash for upgrades, debt payoffs, or new investments without touching that first mortgage. The other thing is, what's a HELOC versus a home equity loan and a second mortgage? Let's break down the difference. A HELOC, or a home equity line of credit, acts like a credit card secured by your home. I use this term all the time. You could draw what you need, pay it down, and draw it again. Usually it comes with a variable rate. A home equity loan, often called a second mortgage, is a lump sum loan with a fixed rate and set payment, almost like a cash out refinance. The question though is, which one's better? If you're renovating in stages or need flexibility, the HELOC always wins. That way you're not drawing everything at once and make a payment on it all at once. You could take payments out as you go. If you're consolidating debt or doing a one-time remodel, the fixed second mortgage might make more sense. You have a sustainable payment that doesn't change. Both options let you keep that first low mortgage rate from the pandemic years intact. So rates and federal outlooks. So where are rates heading on these? Well, as October 2025, the 30-year fixed mortgage rates are averaging around, mid to low 6%. Fannie Mae projects they'll end 2025 near 6.1, 6.2%, and 2026 around 6%. The Federal Reserve's benchmark rate sits near 4.5% and is expected to trend down towards 3.5% by 2026. So, translation, rates are going to ease, but not crash. Okay? There's a lot of people, I did a whole thing on this thinking that the market's going to crash. It's just not going to happen. You might see price reductions and stuff like that, but rates have been trending lower, which is good. So if you've been waiting for 4% mortgages to come back, you're going to probably wait for a long time, a really long time. That's why so many homeowners are looking at equity lines now, using what they already own to move forward instead of waiting for the perfect timing. I had a customer who wanted to pay cash for a house, and I really said, why don't we really think about this? If you put all your money into that house, how are you going to get it out? What if you don't have income? you're going to be limiting yourself so you can get it locked up into a security. So I always tell clients, like, hey, let's make it a reasonable mortgage. Maybe put 2/3 of your cash down and keep the other third and leverage it in the market, or use it for something else. I don't know. There's a lot of options out there, but I think at this point, like, it's wild with all the equity that I am talking to people every single day about taking money out of their home to either pay off those 31% interest rate credit cards, maybe doing the remodel you've been talking about for years. All these different things are all options for you that I could help leverage for you to get to the finish line and be able to attain those goals. So picture this. A homeowner in Naples bought back in 2018 with a 3.75% mortgage. Today, the home's up 40% in value and has about $100,000 in equity. She wanted to remodel her kitchen and consolidate all the high interest debt, which a lot of people have, but refinancing would push her rate to 3.5% or 6.5%. I apologize. Instead, she opened up a $75,000 HELOC at around 7.5% variable, used $50,000 for the remodel, and pays on the balance over time. Her first mortgage stays intact. She gains new value in her home, and the blended cost is still lower than a full refinance. People don't realize it. Even if the HELOC or second mortgage is at 10% and you're at 3%, it's still cheaper to do the second mortgage or HELOC than it is to do the full refinance. You got to understand that. I've done many, many analysis. It always ends up cheaper, which is good for you out of your pocket. That's the power of using your home's equity strategically. So let's talk about when not to use a HELOC, and this isn't for everyone. If you bought recently and have very little equity, the costs are going to outweigh the benefits. If your spending habits are inconsistent or you're not disciplined, big word, done a lot of videos on this, discipline with variable debt, it can become a trap. If you plan to move or sell in the next 3 years, closing costs and rate risk might not make sense. Using a HELOC or second mortgage for strategic reasons, don't use them for emotional reasons, okay? I will help you guide that journey, all right? That's what I do. So I will tell you straight up if it makes sense or if it does not. I am not here to guide anybody in the wrong direction. My goal is to make you a happy client, a happy camper. You go tell your friends, family, coworkers, and that helps me out. So I'm going to hit it with you with real talk. That's what I do. So what's the big takeaway? Home equity has never been higher. I know it may have come down a little bit, but if you look over the trend of the last 10 years, it's definitely higher. Rates are stabilizing, which is good news. They're not crashing. I don't foresee any reason for that to happen. I listen to a lot of people that are economists and into the markets and all that, and there's just no reason for it. We would need another pandemic or a world war or something wild to happen, and that's not good for anybody. Just keep that in mind. So the smartest homeowners are finding ways to make their equity work for them, not just sit in the walls of their houses. I'll say it again. The smartest homeowners are finding ways to make their equity work for them and not sit in the walls of their houses. Whether that's remodeling your home, consolidating your debt, investing, or even using equity to buy a new home, 2025, the rest of 2025 is a year to explore your options and get ready for 2026. So if you're a homeowner in Florida, Georgia, or Texas, and you want to see how much tactical equity you got, head to anchorhl.com or reach out to me directly. We'll run the numbers, show you what's possible, and help you decide whether a HELOC or a second mortgage makes sense or what does make the most sense for you. Don't let your equity sit idle. It's time to make your money work for you. I'm Matt with Anchor Home Loans, and this has been Real Talk. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.